Well, it was in Bark Hill, Maryland. It's about 2 or 3 miles east of Union Bridge, and we lived back a real long lane. It was a little over a mile off the road. So when I grew up as a kid, there was nobody else around. The closest house was over a mile away from the farmhouse where I grew up in. I grew up there until I was 9. Let's see, it was the 5th grade, so I would have been 11 or 12 when we moved from there to Johnsville. Yeah, it was a dairy farm. My father used to milk cows, and of course I was small then. I used to sweep the barn down. We had a 60 cow barn. My father milked the cows with the milkers, but they put them in cans, and then put them in cold water in the dairy, and then the milk truck would come and haul the cans away. Then when I got about 9, my father bought me a pony, and I used to ride the pony around the farm a good bit. He used to buck me off all the time. If I'd get to run him, he'd buck me off. He didn't want no parts of that. Never had any other kids around to play with. It was just me and my sister. And well, of course, she played with dolls, and I didn't play with them. We had a big old tire in the backyard full of sand. I used to play with a farm set inside that tire. That's about really all I remember doing as a kid. My mother was the strict one. My father, he was easygoing. They always had a lot of work, so my parents never really spent much time with us. Actually, my parents butchered when I was a little kid, but I wasn't around it then. But I guess the first remembrance I had of it, I was about 12 or 13. I used to help scrape the hogs off a little bit, and then when I got a little bit older, I guess it was about 17 or 18, I bought a pistol, and I used to shoot the hogs. When I was 18, 19, 20, 21, I remember the butchering's then, but used to help out quite a bit then. But when I was little, I wasn't. I was around it, but I didn't do anything. My father gave me a calf, 1957. Gave me a calf. He had a couple of registered Holsteins, and I was in the 4-H club, and he gave me a calf for a project for the 4-H club. That was the first animals that I had that belonged to me. And then when I got about 15, I bought a couple of brown Swiss heifers, calves. And then I took them to the fairs and showed them at the fairs. Well, I worked on the farm, and then I went to work for a farmer down in Unionville that we milked 60 cows there. And but I only lasted 6 weeks there. And then I got a job at in Frederick for a construction company. It was called Floyd L. Color. And I went to work there, and I was there for 19 and a half years. People would have to go to Vietnam, and a buddy of mine talked me into going into the reserves. So we went in and joined the reserves. We were both only 17 and a half, but that's why I got out of going to Vietnam. I was glad not to go to Vietnam. And it was a pretty day when they announced that to us. I remember being in the barracks that night, and a lot of them that were told that was going, they were sick. After basic training, went to 6 weeks of mechanical school, and they had so many people at the fort that was in the motor pools, so there was about 15 or 20 of us that just sat around all day and did nothing. So they came around and wanted somebody to do stockade duty and fireman duty. So I took the fireman duty, and what that was, all the barracks and company commanders' offices and stuff was all fired by coal. So you work 24 hours. you work 24 hours on and 48 hours off, and all you had to do in them 24 hours was keep the coal stoves burning. One of my friends was working in there, and he said they were hiring, and then I went in there and they hired me. That was in April 1963. Tending masons and cleaning up jobs and tearing stuff out. They had at that time, they had probably about 20 employees. So it was, for back in the 60s, it was a fairly large firm. I was working for them when I fell off the scaffolding, but I had some other injuries before that. And then I cut my finger off in '76. And I was sliding a piece of plywood across the joiner, and my hand slipped off the side of the plywood and went down in the joiner blades and cut my little finger off.